Here we will see about the types of cell death. Morphologically, cell death can be classified into four different forms. So, the cell death morphology and everything you should know. What are the forms of different cell death and all. So, these are four forms, that is apoptosis, autophagy, necrosis and entosis. So, morphologically, how these all the forms are different, and apart from there, how many are there, we should know. Apoptosis. This is a type 1 cell death, is the fastest form of cell death and mainly occurs depending on the caspase proteolytic cascade. So, generally, this cell death is everywhere in the body. This is the normal physiology which occurs inside the body, and it is the fastest form of cell death, and it caspases mainly via extrinsic and intrinsic pathway. Caspases play a role in apoptosis. For example, caspase 3 is the main executioner of the apoptosis, but these are activated by two different mechanisms that are pathways, that is extrinsic and intrinsic. Next is autophagy. This is a type 2 cell death and is a degradation process to remove damaged proteins, dysfunctional organelles, and commences by the formation of autophagosome. So, in the autophagism mainly is involved in order to remove damaged or dysfunctional organelles or proteins, so that the normal physiology or the cell will be in normal condition and can function in a normal physiological manner. So, this is the degradation process which removes all these damaged proteins. So, you people should tell me what will occur if the proteins, damaged proteins, are not removed. Third is necrosis, is a type 3 cell death which contains a great diversity of cell death processes such as necroptosis and pyroptosis. So, you should tell me what is the difference between necroptosis and pyroptosis. So, necrosis is a type 3 cell death which contains diversity of cell death processes. So, you should also know which are the diseases or when this necrosis occur and how this cell will look like. What are the disease conditions when you can see the necrosis. So, you should all be knowing about necrotic processes, and also histologically, can you see the necrosis, or which staining you can do or prefer to see the necrosis. Next is entosis, is a type 4 cell death which displaying cell in cell cytological features and requires the engulfing cells to execute. So, this is very different form of cell death. I don't think you might have heard of this, but very scarce or very little evidences we can see of this processes, that is this entosis, which is type 4 cell death which displays cell in cell cytological features. So, what does this mean? Cell in cell cytological features. You can comment in the comment box. And this type 4 cell death, that is entosis, requires the engulfing cells to execute. What does this mean? What they will be executing? In which diseases or disorders, or what, how you can see this cell death, you should know about this. There are also some other forms of or types of cell death apart from this, such as ferroptosis, parthenosis, necrotic cell death, lysosomal dependent cell death, alkalyptosis or oxyptosis. So, You should also know what are the differences, how do you recognize these types of cell death. Like ferroptosis is an iron dependent cell death, and this GPX enzyme, that is glutathione peroxidase, which is mainly affected. Which glutathione peroxidase? That is 1 glutathione GPX1 is affected by the ferroptosis. So if you want to confirm that which type of cell death is involved, then you can check the markers for particular cell death. Like for ferroptosis, you can check iron and this. Thank you.